We got a big one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Game one of the Eastern Conference Final. Florida Panthers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. You can hear that right here on 560 WQM. Panthers preview gets going at 7:30. But if you kick back on your couch, you want to watch a little pregame action, Randy Moller, Steve Goldstein, and the entire crew with Script Sports will get you going before they flip on over to the national coverage. And you guys can check that on out as well if you guys want to get your Panthers local pregame coverage. Check that on out. And we're going to talk right now to the great Randy Moller on the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, and toyotaofhollywood.com. Randy Moller, kind enough to join us there. Hello, Randy. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Yep, it's going to be an exciting night tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Quick turnaround. Panthers winning Game 7 in Toronto, go right to Carolina, and get ready to hopefully to blitz the Hurricanes and see if they can win this first game of this 7-game series.
Randy, how much do you think, like having that knowledge of facing them a couple of years ago, obviously little pieces change, but the Panthers, a lot of the core is still there. Kachuk had an awesome series a couple of years ago. How much of that matters, do you think, going into this one as far as just having any mental edge? Does any of that stuff carry over?
I don't think so, guys. There's changes on both teams. The cores are there, but you can't. You just can't compare from last year or even the year before, and that. Carolina's a strong club. They're fast, they're physical. There's a lot of similarities between the Panthers and Carolina. They play a fast game, a physical game. They both have great special teams. So that's going to be an interesting side note on this series. Who's going to win the special teams? Because a lot of times that can determine the outcome of the game. Panthers obviously have the edge if you go historically of the goaltending, with Sergei Bobrovsky as being all-world right now and the future Hall of Famer. But Freddie Anderson, their number one goaltender, the big question with them is if he can stay healthy. He's had health issues over the last number of years, but he's played extremely well for Carolina, and one of the big reasons why they've only played 10 games in the first 2 rounds and that. So both teams seem like they're healthy, they're fresh, they're ready to go. I just give the edge to the Florida Panthers here because of the production that they're getting on all 4 lines. When you've got a third line, the Lundell line, which so-called third line, they'd be a top liner at no less than a second line on 30 other teams in the NHL. When you're getting production, 11 goals over 33 points from that third line so far in the playoffs with Lundell, Marshian, and Loisterain. Loisterain's leading all players with even strength points in the playoffs so far, and that teams just can't stack up to that. When you're running out, the Carolina Hurricanes, their big line with Sebastian Aho and obviously Jarvis and Svechnikov, who's got 8 goals so far, so he's really blazing hot. But then you get the Barkov line, then it's the Bennett line, then it's the Lundell line, and the fourth line with Gadjevich and Greer and Nosek. I mean, they chipped in a few goals and have played very physical. It's very difficult for teams to stack up. And over a long series, a 7-game series, the way the Panthers play, they're relentless. They just keep coming. The physicality eventually wears out the opposition's defense. We saw that against Tampa. We saw it against Toronto. In a 7-game series, it's very tough if the Panthers keep that energy level up, the physicality up, and they spread out the offense. Seems like, guys, every game so far in the playoffs that the Panthers have won, there's been a different hero on this team. That just shows the depth and the balance that they have.
It's been amazing. That third line with Marshian coming in, is it Etu and Anton? Do they just have a style that can blend with anybody, Randy? Like, why did that chemistry sync so well with not that much time with each other?
Yeah, and we saw it. We saw it a couple of years ago remember Reinhardt played with Lundell and Loisterain, and they had quite a bit of success as well. That's the reason why, and it raised a lot of eyebrows around the NHL guys, and we all saw it, and we were all surprised. There was nobody that thought they saw this coming. The Panthers when they had an opportunity to get a Brad Marshian, who's been an arch enemy of the Florida Panthers and every team in the NHL for that fact, when they get an opportunity, they knew exactly what they were getting. They knew exactly where they wanted him to play. And it's the same thing with Seth Jones. Look how well he has played. They saw a player that was unhappy in a situation. They knew the talent. They felt they were very confident in their homework, both with Marshian and with Seth Jones, that these players would come in and fit into the culture of the Florida Panthers and what they built here in that locker room. And I thought it was interesting. Nate Schmidt had that comment, yesterday or the day before, when asked about, the culture of the team and that. He said it was like a preseason game number 2, and I tried to do something in the neutral zone or whatever, and had Barkov and Reinhart basically coming up to him and saying, "We don't do that here. We don't do that on this team." So there's a culture that's been built here, guys, and for the players, hats off to Bill Zito and his hockey operations staff to recognize and to have the cojones to go out and pay a price and get a Seth Jones and go out and pay a price to get a Brad Marshian. But they're exactly what the Panthers were looking for, to give them even more juice. This is all about winning Stanley Cups, guys. It's not about making playoffs and having a so-so year and that kind of stuff. This team is geared now. They want to win. They know that the window is not big, but they're in the wheelhouse right now. Most of their players are in their late 20s, the core players, late 20s, 30 years old. So they've got a window here. If they continue to build and add the assets, they can do it. It's not just you and I, us three, talking about the Florida Panthers. It's all around the league, the accolades that they get for how they build this team and what the culture's like and how they play. And they're just so resistant of ups and downs and that. If they play the way they can and they have that energy and that what they've shown the first two rounds, they obviously the experts have picked them to be the favorites in this series, and I agree.
Randy, as a newcomer to like hockey, I've watched hockey but never really gotten into it. When you see the depth on this team, I try to think of other sports, and in other sports, the stars have to shine, right? On this team, it seems like the stars just need to play their part and take advantage of the opportunities or whatever. But have you ever seen a team, and I can think about any sport, like we said the Boston Celtics were deep. They're at home right now, right? I've never seen a team in any sport that's this deep where you don't have a problem with any line that's in the game at that given time. I can't. Have you seen another hockey team like this? Because I can't think of one, and because I haven't been in a hockey, I can't say it. I've never seen it.
Yeah. It's you got to go back a number of years to see or experience a team that is so solid, and I think it gets overlooked, guys, as well. The Panthers, whether it's the Barkov, Bennett, Lundell, or the fourth line, which is interchangeable. We've seen that already, and that's what shows you that you have strong depth is when you can, Evan Rodriguez goes out, they put in Boquist on the top line, he scores a goal and helps the Panthers win. We see this, and they play the same way. That's the point I was trying to make. It's the same system, same forecheck. It's a mix of skill and physicality. They all finish their checks. You don't have two what you call fancy dancy lines out there, all offense and not caring about defense at all. All four lines can score. All four lines can check. When you've got Barkov and Reinhart on the same line and both are Selke nominees as the best defensive forwards, that's saying a lot. The NHL has never seen that before. So the way they built this team, and you just knock on wood, guys, that the team stays healthy. It's a grind. There's nothing like NHL playoff hockey. It's the longest, grueling tournament in all of sports, and the demands that's put on their body and the emotional ups and downs, and that the Panthers have experience now of being in the finals. Going back, they've been to the finals twice, and they expect to be in the finals again. They've got the experience. The little hiccups that happen along the way, and we've seen it where, maybe the offense kind of goes south, or the power play, and that they just muscle their way through it, and they turn that adversity into, a little bit of motivation, and all of a sudden the next game they come out just flying again. They're going to have an off game. Nobody's going to sweep. I don't think there's going to be anybody sweeping this series, and that they're going to face some adversities and maybe a hot goaltender along the way here and that. But that's what makes the game and what makes it so special. And this Panthers team, as we've just been talking about, they're built to handle that adversity, the little bits of ups and downs. And Paul Maurice and his coaching staff, you guys listen to him, his post-game press conferences and off-day press conference, whether the team wins or loses, it's a process. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. It's very low-keyed and workman's like attitude. They trust each other. They trust the system, the team, and they just go out there and try and execute and basically beat the wheels off of the teams physically. And it just takes a toll in Game 6 and Game 7.
Yeah, my favorite guy, Randy, with that has become, and I've referred to him as a polar bear on skates, is Nico Mikkola. He's so terrifying, Randy. I don't understand why anybody would want to go up against him. What is the art that he has of pinning somebody up against the boards? Because it feels like when he wants to do that to you, or even just control the puck to kill time, no one's going to mess with him.
You can't teach size and strength. That is pretty well a God-given attribute. And then you can add the skill and the confidence in that. And that's, I think a big thing is the Panthers play with quite a bit of swagger. They're confident in each other. They're confident in their individual skill sets. And it's all about what you can bring to the team. Don't try and do everything. And a perfect example, guys, you talk about, Mikkola, but like Seth Jones. Seth Jones came from an organization in Chicago, which is rebuilding. They were losing, 6 out of every 7 games. And he was asked to do everything. Play Superman on defense, be Superman on offense, lead the rush, quarterback the power play, do this, play 35 minutes a night. He doesn't have to do that here. And it took him a little adjustment. It's okay just to have a normal shift, move the puck, come up the ice, make a good defensive play, and then change. He doesn't have to be the Superman on this team. There's enough depth. You got the Ekblads and the Forslings, and as you mentioned, the Mikkola and Kulikov. I mean, they're so solid back on the fence that you're seeing right now, like Gustav Forsling. His minutes are down as well because they have the confidence of playing 6 defense against any line. The other thing that stands out as well, historically, you talk about series and you talk about, the Panthers are they don't have the last change in Carolina the first 2 games because they're the visiting team. They don't have about matching lines. Paul Maurice doesn't care about matching lines. You can throw out any line. You want to play the Aho line against the Lundell line? That's fine. You want to play it against the Bennett line? That's fine. You want to play against Barkov's line? That's fine. And that is the swagger and the confidence that this team has in each other and each playing well and being responsible with and without the puck. So I haven't said all that. It's all about execution and it's the mindset and that, and you just hope that the Panthers are ready to go. Might be the toughest building to play in is in Carolina. The way that rink is set up and their fans, and they tailgate 2 hours before they open up the doors, so they're well greased up, as you guys know what I'm talking about. When they get in there, and that's why Carolina, they've won every home game in the playoffs. It is so tough to win there, and the Panthers have experienced that. Even though they won the 2 games in Carolina the last time they met in the playoffs, they were 1-goal games, and it was, if you could check with the 2 overtime winners and that, it's going to be a tough sled. The first couple of games, the emotions Carolina will be ready. Their fans will be ready. And it's up to the Panthers to use that experience and that poise to make sure that they're ready to go.
He's Randy Moller. Catch him, Steve Goldstein, the whole crew on Scripps Sports Night at 7:30. You go, of course, also listen to that game right here on 560 WQM. Thanks for the time, Randy. Appreciate it.
Randy.
Okay, guys, anytime. Yep, have a great day.